Alright, yeah, and welcome back to some more Magic Duels with our Aether Thopters deck. The final video, so we're going to make a few changes based on your guys' suggestions and things that I thought maybe needed to be changed. So, let's go into the deck very briefly, shall we? We have made quite a few changes, so one of the things that we suggested going into was Saheeli Wright, and it's a very good idea. We've kind of gone down a little bit of a different strategy with the changes here. We've gone through a lot of flickering and copying, essentially, of the creatures that we have in the deck. Because we have a lot of creatures that have enter the battlefield effects, so we're trying to exploit them a little bit more with these changes. And it seems to be working out quite nicely from what I've been playing anyway. So hopefully the games will reflect that when we come to it. Anyway, Saheeli Wright is a 1 blue and a red planeswalker with 3 loyalty. She has a +1 to scry 1 and deal 1 damage to each opponent. That scry 1 can help us get into better draws, which is not too bad. So this deck does have quite the heavy 4-drop count now, which does make it a little bit awkward. So Saheeli can help out with the scries and make sure that we hit our land drops when we need to, or if we're flooding out that we don't hit our land drops, that kind of thing. The -2 is the main reason to play Saheeli though in this deck, and that is create a token that is a copy of a target artifact or creature you control. Except for it's an artifact in addition to its other types. That token gains haste, exile at the beginning of the next end step. So essentially, we can -2 any creature on our board and make a copy of it. So we're going to be making copies of things like Whirler Rogue, which when it enters the battlefield gets us 2 Thopters. So we make a copy, we make 2 more Thopters, that kind of thing. P and Kieran, just the same. And Maverick Thopterist, exactly the same. So her -2 ability is just going to generate us some extra Thopters and a hasty creature that maybe we can swing in with or threaten our opponent to hit them with anyway. So that's one thing that we've gone. We've also added in Flame Shadow Conjuring, which is the enchantment version of Saheeli's -2 in a nutshell. So it's a 3 and a red enchantment. It says whenever a non-token creature enters the battlefield under your control, you may pay 1 red. If you do, put a token onto the battlefield that is a copy of that creature. That token gives haste, exile at the beginning of the next end step. So yet again, if we get Flame Shadow Conjuring down, every single one of our creatures that generates as Thopters, you can count an extra red mana symbol onto the side of them and they'll do twice as much in a nutshell. So P and Kieran unfortunately does have a bit of a nombo with that because it is legendary, so the moment you create the copy you will legend rule P and Kieran. However, you'll still get the Thopters that they would normally generate, you just don't get the hasty token from it. But everything else, like the Maverick Thopterist, will still generate those Thopters and still let you have that 2/2 to swing in maybe. There's also the chance that our Aether Swoopers will generate some more energy as well, so if we're struggling on our Aether hubs, then we can use an Aether Swooper to gain us extra energy if we should choose to use it, and the attack that it goes in, it can also generate as a Thopter if we want to do that as well. So that's not bad. Also, extra triggers for the Fireweaver as well. Hopefully we get to show off some stupid 4 damage turns with Fireweaver and just a single creature. That would be quite nice. Other changes is the Essence Flux. Essence Flux allows us to exile creatures we control and then return them to the battlefield under our owner's control. And if it's a spirit, you put a counter on it. We don't have any spirits, so that secondary ability is pointless. But it is a 1 blue mana instant speed flicker spell, essentially. So it allows us to exile a creature and return it. So if we exile a Thopter Engineer and return it, we get an extra Thopter, that kind of thing. If we do it with a Whirler Rogue, it's just the same as Saheeli's -2. We exile it, we get 2 more Thopters, that kind of thing. It also allows us to get around removal as well. If our opponent has burn for some of our creatures, then we can hold an Essence Flux in hand, and when they go to shock or Fiery Impulse, that kind of thing, then in response, then we Essence Flux, we save the creature, and we generate a little bit more value from it in the process as well, so that's really good for us. We've also changed the mana up a little bit, only slightly. Instead of the Evolving Wilds, we've actually gone for the Highland Lakes. One of you guys pointed out that it's probably best to have more blue and red mana, thanks to the fact that we've got a lot of double blues and double reds, and you're absolutely correct. Another reason to do it as well was because with the Evolving Wilds we were thinning out a deck, and obviously we were getting mana screwed quite a fair bit as well. I don't think with a 23 land deck and the amount of doubles and the high cost, it's a good idea to be thinning the deck out here. So, although I had the Evolving Wilds in there to thin out the deck, it wasn't a good idea. I just usually don't go towards this kind of tap land. I usually leave these well alone. just out of personal preference, but yeah, thinning the deck out in this particular case was not a good idea, so I swapped them out for a Highland Lake, which is just a blue and red tap land instead, which does the same thing in a way, but just gets us a little bit more value. The kind of cuts that I made, I got rid of the Inventor's Goggles. Although they were good and they had a lot of synergy with a lot of the creatures, I don't think they were as good as maybe the Saheelis and the Flame Shadow Conjurings in terms of the value that they were generating. So the Inventor's Goggles went out for the Saheeli and the Flame Shadow Conjuring, because I do think that these guys are just strictly better than an Inventor's Goggles on a Whirler Rogue or something like that. Just wasn't generating the amount of power that we needed them to, so they ended up getting cut. We also cut down on the Aether Chaser as well. We were going quite hard on Energy, Thopters, and Improvise, and I think we needed to cut one of them just to make the deck a little bit more consistent. So the Aether Chaser, which was the red version of the Aether Swooper, I ended up cutting them in place of the Essence Fluxes, which yet again can generate as a lot more value than a single servo token, that kind of thing. Although the value it did generate at the beginning in terms of generating the artifacts for the Improvise did come in handy. We still have the 3 Aether Swoopers and we can flicker them to get the same amount of energy and the same amount of potential value off of them. And the Aether Swoopers are more likely to get in the damage, seeing as though they are flyers as well. So that ended up getting cut. Anyway guys, that's the changes that I made to the deck. If you stick around, you'll see the matches that will follow with the new deck list. The deck list itself is going to be in the description as well. Apologies, I haven't put it up recently and I've just been forgetting about it, but it will be in the description if you want to check out the new deck list and make it for yourself. Alright guys, hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you next. Well, I'll see you in a second. Bye-bye. Alright, we're in. We have absolutely nothing to do with this hand, and this one, if we drew a land it'd be alright, but let's do it. We just need a land in the next 2 draws. An untapped one at that. We don't need doubles of anything, so, you know, for the most part, any land's good, as long as it's not the other Highland Lake. Then we're all golden. We draw. Not a land. Alright. So it begins. Our opponent's on red. They might be on red deck wins. I'm not sure. Red aggro currently. Still looks to be the case. Thermo Alchemist. Okay. Maybe a bit more burn focused. The Alchemist can do a fair amount of damage if you're casting instant and sorceries consistently. There's an Aether Hub. So we're doing things. Wonderful. Still could do with hitting another land, but Artificer's Epiphany is going to find us that anyway, so it's going to be nice. Hopefully the Thopter survives long enough for us to cast the Epiphany so that we don't have to discard, but it won't be the end of the world. But not bad. Cool. So the ideal draw next turn is another blue source. But any land will do, because we have the Aether Hub to pay for the energy for the double blue. So it shouldn't be too bad. Goes with another Alchemist. He's doubling down on the damage, so we're in race mode by the looks of it. He's going to tap, so I'm expecting a 1-mana burn spell here for our Thopter. Maybe he's going to save it for our turn when we go to combat. Sulphur Falls. Nice. Nice. Zephyr tapped. Right, so what I want to do is go to combat, and then in response he's going to try burn it, and in response we're going to Epiphany, so that we don't have to discard. Oh. He is going to do no such thing. Yeah, we'll swing in with our Engineer, see if he wants to block. Here comes the burn. That we're fairly confident he had. Galvanic Bombardment, there it is. For our Thopter, so we're going to draw while we still have an artifact. We get a Wandering Fumarole and a Maverick Thopterist. Okay. Fair enough. Taps again to deal 1 damage to us. Sure. Wouldn't mind seeing the Flame Shadow Conjuring, that'd be nice. So yes, I was going to tell you about my fun little evening, the reason why I didn't record yesterday. Because I'm a genius who thought, you know what, I can play Magic a little bit drunk. That's fine. It's not fine, and it didn't happen because I changed my mind because I'm smarter than that. Now we ended up playing a drinking game called Drunk Souls. For those who don't know, there is a game called Dark Souls, and it's one of the hardest games ever made. And we made a drinking game around it. More specifically, if you died, lost, tried to heal yourself, anything like that, you had to take a drink to do it. So we were fighting bosses, and every single time you used a healing potion, the moment you used the healing potion, you had to take a drink mid-battle. So yeah, it was a lot of fun. Right, speaking of fun, what are we going to do here? I guess another Thopter engineer. Let's get a hasty Thopter over the top, and then we can swing in with our other engineer as well. Should be fine. Is he going to have anything for our engineer that couldn't kill it to begin with? I don't think so. At least we've got a backup one. So he could have a fiery temper here to burn away this engineer. But he was going to have that anyway. So we might as well get our value in. Okay. But yes, if you beat a boss, you had to down half your drink. If you beat a sub-boss, which is an enemy that appears on the map but doesn't respawn, but isn't technically a boss, you have to drink a quarter of your drink. Lots of fun. Alright, Fiery Impulse to take down the engineer, untaps all of his alchemists. You can tap for 2 more damage, take us down to 14. Sure. He's almost out of cards though. And he hasn't nearly got as low enough as he may like to have done. Taps for 2 more, so he's got an instant sorcerer in his hand. Down to 12. Plays Dragon Fodder. That has been a very long time since I've seen that card being played. Very long time. Takes us down to 10. So I think there was supposed to be Goblin Tribal at some point, if you're playing something like that. But no. So he's going to Fiery Temper us with Spell Mastery, which means he's going to deal 3 damage to our engineer, take us down to 8 with the Alchemist. There's not really much we can do about any of this, so we just kind of have to play it out for as long as possible. See if we can survive long enough for Inventor's Fair to maybe make up some of the value. Ooh. Wellerogue though. Wellerogue ain't half bad. We could even Thopterist, but it's the same thing essentially. So we're gonna Wellerogue, leaving up a blue mana for the Essence Flux. So in response to him killing our Wellerogue, we can Essence Flux it to generate more Thopters and save it. Swing for 1 in the air. If we don't, then we're essentially just admitting defeat if we're not attacking him. Okay. Card in hand was not something you wanted to burn away our creatures with. Interesting. So it's not a 1 mana burn spell, because I would have imagined he would have gone for the Wellerogue. Takes us down to 6. Yeah, I'm pretty sure we're just dead here, but there's a shock to our face. Down to 4, down to 2 with the Alchemist. Actually, we could Metallic Rebuke. I think we probably should. Just tap him down, make sure if that last card could kill us, he's not going to cast it. But we're dead to the Alchemist anyway, so really makes very little difference. And a Bedlam Reveler discards his hand, draws 3. But they likely just untap and win. Only one of those has to be an instant and sorcery. Just absolutely got our arse handed to us there. Block. We do go back up to 4 thanks to the Inventor's Fair, but that's not really going to do as much good, is it? Reverse Engineer. Well, Maverick Thopter is tapping down all of our servos. All of our Thopters. We only need 1 open actually, so we can only want to pay just 1 of these. Tap all but the blue. There we go. Leaving open an Essence Flux so we can get more Thopters if we need them. And can we afford to swing in? I mean, we might as well. I think we're just dead, to be perfectly honest. So we might as well. Send a message. Okay, can he deal 4 points? More specifically, does he have an instant and sorcery in his hand? Taps. Down to 3, down to 2. An instant and sorcery untaps them for 2 more damage on the alchemists. That's an abbot. It's not a instant and sorcery, but does it reveal one? It reveals a thermal alchemist. Alright, still alive. Kind of. Dead inside, but still alive. Galvanic Bombardment untaps and we lose. Okay. Yep, we could Essence Flux that, but he's just going to tap in response and we lose. So there's no point. Be just wasting time at this point. Alright. Fair enough. I will see you guys in the next game. Okay, we're in. We've got a very expensive hand and we don't have the mana to accommodate it. So we're going to throw it back. This one isn't great. It's a bit slow, but I think we can take it. It's better than going down to 6, I think. We can draw into the nice things anyway. We'll go with Sulphur Falls, since it is our only tap land currently. And pass it over to our opponent, who is playing... Da-da! Green-white. Humans, maybe? I'm not sure. Ooh, Saheeli. Not bad, not bad. Let's go with an Inventor's Fair and pass the turn. Should have maybe gone the Aether Hubs there. So now our opponent knows that we're going to be running a lot of artifacts. Maybe there's nothing they can do about it, but it's best to hold off that kind of information if you want. Oath of Nissa. Okay, so he gets to look for a creature, land, or planeswalker, I believe. Yes. And then all of his planeswalkers become 5-color planeswalkers. The non-creature versions, anyway. So, some Petal Grove. Next turn, he's likely going to be playing a Nissa down then. We get a Whirler Rogue, which isn't bad. Well, we can take this time. If he is running blue mana, which somehow I doubt it, we can take this time to resolve a Saheeli Rai. Make sure that stays on the battlefield. Sweet. And deal 1 damage to each opponent and scry 1. Do we want another land? No, not really. I'll bottom that. The Aether Hub's going to allow us to Whirler Rogue next turn, and then we can mine a Saheeli Rai, make a copy of Whirler Rogue, if we so choose. Does it gain haste as well? Yes. It's also an artifact. Land into Nissa is my guess. Just going to the second main. Okay. Well, we know he's got Nissa. Is he going to cast it? Gonna pass. I don't understand that at all, but maybe I'm missing something. Okay, Aether Hub, gain an energy. Just going to allow us to Whirl a Rogue, and maybe we find out why. Why he's choosing not to do any of that. I'm just going to keep plussing Saheeli, I think. I don't think getting in 2 damage with a Whirler Rogue is better than scrying to make sure our top draw is a lot better. Highland Lake is the double land that we need for the rest of the game. So I think I'm going to top it. We're going to pass. As soon as we got that land in, then everything can be cast without Aether Hub energy, which we currently don't have as well. Aether Swooper would solve that problem, but... So he goes land into Suppression Bonds. Alright. Locking down Saheeli. Fair enough. Hindsight, should have got the Whirler Rogue. So I don't think we can remove that anymore. Right. In which case, let's go Aether Swooper. And get him for 4. Get the energy back for our Aether Hubs. Also maybe a Servo if we choose to go that direction. There we go. Probably not though, because I'd like to get Whirler Rogues and things down. But then again, as I mentioned, we don't need the energy for the Aether Hub anymore. So we'll have to see. Got him down to 14 anyway. Still hasn't shown us any pressure whatsoever. We should have played a Nissa last turn. I don't know what. Maybe he just thinks we're going to burn it. It's my only guess. And he's just waiting until he can flip it on the same turn. Flame Shadow Conjuring. Ooh. Well, first things first, play a land. Swing in with everything. He's got a Pack Guardian. Okay. You can discard a land to make a wolf token, I think. Yes. Looks like he's going to. He does. Yeah, let's generate this servo. Activates our Inventor's Fair that way. So he can eat our Whirler Rogue, which is fine. So we're going to play down Flame Shadow Conjuring, and then every single one of these is a double in a nutshell. It's also going to allow us to get Aether Thopters down for 2. And then pay for 3 to get some more Thopters. So if you can't get rid of that, we're going to be off to the races. Okay. So he's got 6 power on the board. Going all at Saheeli. Alright. Little does he know we can do nothing about that Suppression Bonds, but I'm sure he's just making sure that's going to be the case. So we avoid 6 points of damage to the face. Maybe I am glad I didn't minus, because he wouldn't have thrown all of it at us. At her. Ah, there's a Rex Sage. You suck. I hate you. Fun ruiner. Okay. And a Sylvan Advocate. Plays a land, makes it into a 4/5, so we're in trouble now. We do get a life off of the Inventor's Fair. We can get in for 3 over the top, take him down to 8. Aether Thopters makes us some more lovely Thopters as well. I think we do want to keep putting the pressure on as much as possible. He's going to be able to start swinging in at us quite badly soon. So we're going to go Thopters, Whirler Rogue, and then sack the Foundry probably. And if that doesn't do it, then I'm not sure what does. But once the Thopters is down, yeah, we won't. We'll chump with the servo token. Once the Thopter is down, then we can use it as a chump blocker to insulate our life total. Same with the Whirler Rogue, really. Because making things unblockable with the Whirler Rogue right now is not exactly generating us any attack power. Unless we're using Summoning Sick Thopters. And don't plan to block with them. We could, of course, use the Wandering Fumarole. But that's an expensive attack to make. Certainly can't do it with a Whirler Rogue on the turn that it comes down anyway. Just don't have the mana. So he's down to 8. We've got 5 in the air. He's just going to pass. It's an interesting play. You're pretty sure that that's going to be an Avacyn in the air then. But it's going to be an Avacyn to block a 1-2. So how much do I actually care? Very little is the answer to that question. So, swinging with all the flyers. Leaving the ground blockers to protect our life total. There's the Avacyn. Avacyn blocks a 1-2. So he takes 4. And with a Whirler Rogue generating enough Thopters, that is just going to be game. Unless he can wipe the board. See, we do 3 in the air next turn, but Whirler Rogue gives us an extra 2. And the Aether Swooper if we can afford it. Yes, we can. Whirler Rogue. I don't think we have to play the Aether Swooper though. If he's got a board wipe, I'd like to stabilise to a certain degree, so, you know, let's just pass. Because we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 5 with the Avacyn, but he needs another 2 flyers to stop us from winning just in the air, or removal, which it's looking like he doesn't have, but he is searching for it with his Nissa. Gonna plus Nissa would be my guess. Yep. Real top card if it's a land. Oh, it's a Selfless Spirit. Okay, that's still block and block. 4 damage coming through. Oath of Nissa still hunting. Legend rules 1, gets to keep the other. Creature, land, or planeswalker needs another Selfless Spirit. And an Elvish Visionary, that's not going to do it. So that's going to be game. Unless he's got a 2-mana spell in his deck that can deal with enough of these Thopters. Don't think he does. Nope. No, actually, I think a Blessed Alliance to gain life would have done it, right? 5 damage, yeah. 5 damage, but he uses it to gain 4 instead. So that's going to be game. We gain 1 life off the Inventor's Fair. We draw into an island. And we swing in all at our opponent. And there we go. We can only block 2 of them. And he's tapped out, so we've got perfect information. Blocks and blocks. There's 4 damage. GG! Alright. Fortunately, we didn't really get a chance to trial out the Flame Shadow Conjuring, but we did get a fair bit of essence fluxing going on, and they're both quite valuable with the end of the battlefield effects on the 4-mana Thopter generators. So whether or not that it's maybe just too expensive, too heavy on the 4-drops, I'm not entirely sure, but I leave that entirely up to you guys if you end up building this deck yourself. So anyway guys, I hope you did enjoy the video. If you did, be sure to leave a like, it helps me out a great deal, lets me know you're enjoying this series and the Magic content that I put out. And be sure to subscribe for more of it in the future. And don't forget to hit the little bell icon right next to the subscription button as well to be notified when I release new videos. Alright guys, hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.